Welcome back to another empowering episode of Journey to Success. I'm Emily Carter, your host, and today we're tackling a challenge we've all faced at some point: overcoming procrastination. Joining us is an incredible guest, Dr. Nathan Brooks, a productivity expert, best-selling author, and life coach who's helped thousands break free from delay and unlock their potential. Nathan, it's an absolute honor to have you with us today.
Thank you, Emily. I'm truly excited to be here and dive into a topic that's not just about getting things done, but about reclaiming your time and purpose with clarity and momentum.
I'm so ready to soak up your wisdom. Procrastination can feel like a stubborn roadblock, keeping us from our goals. Nathan, let's start with the big picture. Why is overcoming procrastination so crucial for success, and how does it shape our lives?
That's a fantastic question, Emily, and it really gets to the core of why tackling procrastination is so transformative. Procrastination isn't just about putting off tasks. It's a habit that steals your time, erodes your confidence, and keeps you stuck in a cycle of stress and regret. When you overcome it, you're not just checking boxes. You're taking control of your life, building discipline, and creating space for creativity, growth, and joy. It's the difference between dreaming about success and actually achieving it. I think of someone like J.K. Rowling, who could have delayed writing Harry Potter amid her struggles as a single mom, but she didn't. She carved out time in cafes, saying, "You've got to work. It's about getting it done." Her persistence turned a spark into a global phenomenon. Early in my own journey, I was a grad student in Boston, notorious for procrastinating on my dissertation. I distract myself with emails or TV, falling behind and feeling like a fraud. When I finally tackled my delays, starting with small, focused steps, my work improved, I finished early, and it launched my coaching career. Overcoming procrastination doesn't just clear your to-do list. It builds the confidence and momentum to shape a life you're proud of, opening doors to possibilities you might otherwise miss.
That's such a compelling perspective, Nathan. Procrastination as a thief of time and confidence. Rowling's cafe writing is so inspiring. You mentioned your own dissertation struggles. Can you walk us through how someone can start overcoming procrastination, especially if it feels like a deeply ingrained habit?
Absolutely, Emily. The first step is to break tasks into tiny, actionable steps. Procrastination often stems from feeling overwhelmed. Big projects loom like mountains. By shrinking them into bite-sized pieces, you make starting feel effortless. I draw inspiration from Steve Jobs, who built Apple's empire by focusing on one innovation at a time, saying, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." His approach to simplicity, tackling one design element, one feature, turned ideas into reality. When I was stalling on my dissertation, it felt like a monster: hundreds of pages, endless research. I kept avoiding it, scrolling social media instead. Then I tried Jobs' method. I committed to writing one paragraph a day. Just one. It was so small I couldn't say no. Some days, I'd write more, but even one paragraph moved me forward. Within months, I had a full draft, and my advisor praised its clarity. I coached a client named Sarah, a marketing coordinator who delayed a big campaign, paralyzed by its scope. Inspired by Jobs, she started with one task: drafting a single email. That kick-started her flow. She launched the campaign early, earning a promotion. Tiny steps don't just shrink tasks. They build a habit of action, dismantling procrastination's grip. Another step is to use the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, do it now. No excuses. If it's bigger, start with 2 minutes of effort. I learned this from David Allen, author of Getting Things Done, who says, "You don't have to finish, but you have to start." I began applying it to everything: replying to emails, outlining talks. Those 2 minutes tricked my brain into continuing, boosting my output. Sarah used the rule, spending 2 minutes brainstorming campaign ideas daily. It snowballed into a full strategy, cutting her stress. Starting small, 2 minutes at a time, makes action feel lighter than delay.
I love those strategies, Nathan. Tiny steps and the 2-minute rule. Jobs and Allen make it so practical. But what about when procrastination hits because of fear, like fear of failure or judgment? How do you push through that?
Oh, Emily, fear is a huge procrastination driver. It's like an invisible wall between you and action. The key is to reframe fear as a signal to act. Fear of failure or judgment often means the task matters to you. So use it as fuel, not a brake. One tool is visualization. Picture the worst outcome, then the best, and realize neither defines you. It's the effort that counts. I draw from Serena Williams, who faced doubts after losses but said, "I don't dwell on what might go wrong. I focus on what I can do right now." Her resilience, channeling fear into practice, won her 23 Grand Slams. When I delayed my dissertation, part of it was fear. Fear my work wouldn't impress my professors, that I'd flop. I'd stall, imagining rejection. Inspired by Serena, I visualized submitting a flawed draft and surviving, then acing it. It freed me to write, and my fears proved overblown. I graduated with honors. I coached a client named Michael, a graphic designer who procrastinated on a client pitch, terrified of criticism. We used Serena's approach. He visualized a no, but also a win, then sketched one idea. He pitched and landed the contract, boosting his portfolio. Reframing fear as a cue to start turns paralysis into progress. Another strategy is self-compassion. Beating yourself up for procrastinating fuels shame, which stalls you more. Instead, acknowledge the fear kindly. "I'm scared, and that's okay." Then take one step. I learned this from Brené Brown, who says, "Talk to yourself like you would a friend." When I froze on my first book, fearing it'd bomb, I'd spiral into guilt. Brown's advice helped. I'd say, "It's normal to worry. Just write a sentence." It worked. The book hit bestseller lists. Michael practiced self-compassion, saying, "I'm nervous, but I'll try." It eased his dread, sparking designs. Fear loses power when you meet it with kindness and action.
That's so empowering, Nathan. Fear as fuel and self-compassion as a bomb. Serena and Brown's examples bring it home. You've mentioned incredible figures like Rowling and Jobs. Are there other famous people whose ability to beat procrastination inspires you?
Oh, definitely, Emily. The world is full of action takers we can learn from. Take Nelson Mandela, who could have delayed his activism in prison, but instead studied, wrote, and planned daily, saying, "The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall." His discipline, acting despite confinement, freed a nation. I leaned on Mandela's focus when I procrastinated on a TEDx talk, dreading the spotlight. I committed to one line a day, and it became my best speech. I coached a client named Olivia, a teacher who delayed curriculum updates, overwhelmed by scope. Mandela's daily effort inspired her to plan one lesson weekly. Her classes soared, earning her an award. Another is Maya Angelou, who fought procrastination by writing daily, even when doubt crept in. She said, "You can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have." Her routine, early mornings in a hotel room, birthed "I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings." When I stalled on my second book, Angelou's discipline pushed me to write one page daily. It's now my top seller. Olivia, inspired by Angelou, set a timer for 15-minute planning bursts, finishing her updates early. Then there's Elon Musk, who tackles procrastination by prioritizing ruthlessly, saying, "Focus on signal over noise." He breaks SpaceX projects into immediate steps, avoiding delay. I used Musk's clarity when a coaching program lagged. I listed one task daily, growing it globally. I coached a client named Ethan, a chef who delayed menu changes, fearing flops. Musk's focus led Ethan to test one dish weekly. His restaurant's now a hotspot. These icons show procrastination falls to steady, intentional action.
Those stories are so motivating, Nathan. Mandela, Angelou, Musk, they show action trumps delay. What about when distractions, like social media or endless emails, fuel procrastination? How do you stay focused?
Distractions are procrastination's best friend, Emily, especially in our hyper-connected world. They pull you away like a riptide. The key is to design your environment for focus. Clear distractions before they tempt you. Turn off notifications, set specific work times, create a clutter-free space. I draw from Cal Newport, author of Deep Work, who says, "Focus is a muscle. Train it." Newport blocks digital noise to write, producing bestsellers. When I was swamped by emails, delaying client plans, I adopted Newport's habit, I silenced my phone for 2-hour blocks, doubling my output. I coached a client named Rachel, a writer who scrolled Instagram instead of drafting articles, missing deadlines. Inspired by Newport, she used an app to block social media during work hours and set a clean desk. Her first Peace Post change won an award. Environment design isn't about willpower, it's about removing temptation. Another tool is time blocking. Assign tasks to specific slots, treating them like appointments. Oprah Winfrey schedules her day meticulously, saying, "You can have it all, just not all at once." I time block writing and coaching, ensuring no email creep. Rachel blocked mornings for drafting, finishing her backlog in weeks. Also, limit decision fatigue. Distractions thrive when you're overwhelmed by choices. Barack Obama simplified routines, same suits, fixed meals, to focus on policy, saying, "You need to remove the mundane to focus on what matters." I plan my day nightly, cutting morning chaos. Rachel preset her article topics, avoiding "what's next" spirals. These strategies, focused environment, time blocking, simplicity, keep distractions at bay, letting action flow.
That's so practical, Nathan. Focus as a muscle and simplicity as a shield. Newport and Obama's habits make it clear. How do we sustain the habit of overcoming procrastination long term, especially when life gets hectic or old patterns creep back?
Sustaining progress against procrastination is like maintaining a garden. It thrives with consistent care, even when chaos strikes. One habit is daily planning. Each night, list 3 priorities for tomorrow. It primes your brain for action. I learned this from Sheryl Sandberg, who plans daily at Meta, saying, "Done is better than perfect." I spend 5 minutes nightly mapping my day, cutting morning stalls. My coaching practice doubled. I coached a client named Anna, a nurse who delayed charting, risking errors. Sandberg's planning led Anna to list tasks nightly. She cleared backlogs, earning a leadership role. Planning anchors focus, no matter the storm. Another key is tracking wins. Log completed tasks. It builds proof you're moving forward, starving procrastination's doubts. Warren Buffett tracks goals meticulously, saying, "The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything." I journal weekly wins, a finished talk, a client breakthrough. It fuels my drive. Anna tracked charting completions, boosting confidence. She now mentors colleagues. Wins, big or small, reinforce action. Also, build accountability. Share goals with a friend, mentor, or group. They'll nudge you when you waver. Michelle Obama leans on her kitchen table of supporters, saying, "We need each other to thrive." My mastermind group checks my progress, keeping me sharp. I coached a client named Mark, a salesman who delayed follow-ups. Obama's accountability inspired him to text a colleague daily goals. He hit quotas early. Support turns intention into reality. Finally, reconnect with purpose. Your why, growth, impact, love, silences procrastination's excuses. Viktor Frankl stayed productive in prison by focusing on meaning, saying, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude." My purpose, uplifting others, drives me through slumps. These habits, planning, tracking, accountability, purpose, build a life where procrastination can't take root.
Those are such dynamic tools, Nathan. Sandberg's planning, Buffett's wins, Frankel's purpose. It's a roadmap for action. As we close, what's one final piece of advice for listeners ready to overcome procrastination today?
My biggest advice is to start with one small win now. Procrastination crumbles against action, no matter how tiny. Think of Fred Rogers, who built Mr. Rogers' neighborhood by showing up daily, saying, "Little by little, we human beings are helped by the daily efforts of those who do what they can." For me, it was that first paragraph, sparking a career I love. One last story. I coached a single mom named Lauren, a cashier who delayed studying for a nursing exam, fearing she'd fail. She felt trapped. We looked at Abraham Lincoln, who overcame delays through steady steps, saying, "I will prepare, and someday my chance will come." Lauren committed to one page nightly. It built momentum. She passed, landing her dream job. If Lauren can act, so can you. Pick one task today, send an email, write a line, clear a desk. That step kicks procrastination out and pulls success closer.
What a beautiful way to wrap up, Nathan. Lauren's story, alongside legends like Rogers and Lincoln, shows action is for everyone. Thank you for sharing such profound wisdom and practical steps. I know our listeners are ready to dive into their tasks with purpose.
Thank you, Emily, and to all the listeners. I hope you feel empowered to seize today and make every moment count.
And that's it for today's episode of Journey to Success. If this conversation lit a fire under you, and I'm betting it did, please hit that subscribe button to catch every motivating episode. Share this with someone stuck in delay, and join us next time for more insights to fuel your journey. Until then, keep taking that first step forward.